Alright, welcome back to Lenz's Comic Corner, Classics That's Known Classics. This is episode number 2899 and Doubleshot number 2793. Yes, I do know next episode is episode 2900. And it's going to be interesting to discuss that one because it's discussing a lot of issues in one particular series. We'll discuss that later on. Okay, first we're discussing two one-shots for the Atom. This first one-shot was, and this is a little fun fact about this one-shot, this was the last solo comic book for Ray Palmer, for the Atom, for 10 years. There is another one-shot, but it's part of the plus one-shots. Yeah, and this is the cover for it. We're discussing the Atom Special number 2, released in 1985, where we have Martian Manhunter, Wally West, and Wonder Woman wondering about, well, his condition. By the way, he's actually back in his old costume from the 60s. Yes, he basically back this costume, and he's like going a little bit, powers a little out of control. The writer of this book is Tennessee Pryor, artwork done by Luke McDonald, and well, this is special thanks to Mark Waid. Yeah, the whole one shot is basically him just his powers of his suit getting a lot of control, and it's just a fun little story for him. I guess DC thought at the time, well, we weren't planning. Oh, we also have Dr. Well, of course, we have Dr. Seville here, not Dr. Zeta. Pretty much in a way, this is a nice little standalone story for him because I don't think DC had planned to give any more solo stuff for Ray Palmer. Like, this, in a way, was his last ever solo story ever published for years. For like, wasn't until like late 2000s they published anything for him because basically it's all about his successor. I do enjoy the one shot for what it is, and I'll give it roughly a 9 out of 10. The next one to discuss is one of the plus one shots, and it's the only other one shot that Ray Palmer had this person. I think this was in '96. It's called featuring the Battle of the Tiny Titans. Yeah, the cover itself is a homage to basically Ray Palmer's debut. Now, this is a team one shot released in 1998. This was a team one shot, but I only reason I'm discussing this here because it's one feature. Of course, you start off with Wave Rider with Ray Palmer and Impulse, and written by Dan Jurgens and Papa Man in the artwork and Dexter Maines in the artwork on the inking. I mentioned that because I met him. So, this one shot features Ray Palmer when he was a teenager for a couple years. Yes, this is. I think it was Dan Jurgens doing this. Eventually, the guys time in Teen Titans. It's basically him teaming with Impulse for a solo story. Yeah, and of course Jean, of course, mentioned the ex-husband because they're divorced. Because she's the one who cheated on him. Not him. He didn't do the cheating. She did. And just a great solo story for these two. Where you have teenage Ray Palmer just team up with Impulse in this fun little adventure. I do recommend basically people fans of Impulse and of course the Atom. Yeah. Great one shot, and of course basically Ray Palmer continues his stuff in Teen Titans. Yep, the one shot I'm going to give roughly a 9 out of 10. Next up basically we have is I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh yeah, it was Manhunter. We're discussing the entire second volume of Manhunter, written by Stephen Grant, artwork by Vince Gardo. Yes, this is a short-lived book. The reason I'm discussing all 12 issues here, well, technically 13, because those are issues here as well, because this is also the shortest volume of the whole series. Yeah, so this is the volume that features Chase Lawler as the Manhunter. Of course, this issue here is basically his first appearance. Basically, he's more of a supernatural Manhunter. Now, here's also something interesting, though. He operates out of Star City, which they mentioned Green Arrow in this book, and at this point, he was headquartered in Seattle. Yeah, he was. As for why he moved from Star City to Seattle, no explanation for it per se. I've never heard the explanation for it because in the comics, I read many Green Arrow comics. There's no real explanation of why he moved from Star City to Seattle. I don't get it. As a matter of fact, when he did Green Arrow Volume 5, he was in Seattle, which instead of basically going to the actual Star City, which they had Star City appear in the book, issue 0 for that book, and then they changed Seattle to Star City. I never got it when it comes to that. Basically, Manhunter is just a guy. It's basically a very 90s book, per se. Now, Stephen Grant, I mentioned this to Mike Zeck when I met him. Yes, I met Mike Zeck. He does agree with me the fact that Stephen Grant is a very underrated writer. He's actually really good. Do I think this book is terrible? Not really, no. It's a book. It may not be everybody's taste, per se, but I did enjoy reading this book. It's only 12 issues, well, plus issue 0. And here's the weird thing about this book. At the end of the book, he meets with his predecessor, Mark Shaw, appears in the final issue of this book. And then, you know what's really weird? After this book concludes, Chase Slaughter's not seeing it for over 10 years until he gets killed off in Manhunter Volume 3 by a rogue Manhunter. Yeah, and does he mention the book of Manhunter? I think it was, they had one of the heroes pop up in the book. I think it was Cap. Cap that pop up here, and he mostly pop up in the book to ask, like, are you basically a robot or some ninja person? That's kind of in a way what basically was going with this one. Last of 94 and 95. Now, Manhunter. Now, the Atom showed up in issue number. I'll talk about the final issue in a minute, but he did show up very early on in this book. He showed up in. Because I think it was issue number 9 or 10, I think it was, that he decided to move to Star City. Because he also sort of a love interest in the book who basically didn't like what he was doing. The second issue is first appearance of Lawless Lawler, who is basically this guy. He's Chase's brother who dies in the next issue of his debut appearance. We also have Blood Money, another enemy of Manhunter, and he's here as a he appears a few times in this book. He appeared in the opening issue, and his run against the book is almost over. And is this character violent? Oh, heck yes, he's violent. We also have Wild Huntsman. This is a guy from 0 Hour. Yes, for some reason, because it came after 0 Hour, he appears in the opening issues, and he appears again to toward the end of the book. If issue 3, some of these characters stop appearing. And then by issue 3, we debut the character Scorch, who actually does survive this book. Well, not really. He appears throughout most of this book. He only misses one issue. He misses actually 2 issues. Issues 9 and 7 and 8. Doesn't he appear in the last issue of the book? His girlfriend doesn't want anything to do because of how somewhat violent of a person he's become. By issue 4, debut new character named Skinwalker, which this person, well, how this person does his work is he's seducing a woman. And she's like, stop it. And he's like, I want your skin. Yes, he has to deal with this person. This Skinwalker, who appears for 2 issues. Yeah, it's a quick 2-part story with the Skinwalker, and then Skinwalker's killed off, and then we debut a brand new villain, Barbarian. He's here for 4 freaking issues. And it's issue 7 when he meets up with Nathaniel Adam, aka Captain Adam. And by issue 8, they kill off a White Locust. White Locust was another character in this book. Yeah, she first appeared in Haywire. Yes, there was a book named Haywire released back in the 80s by Michael Fisher. That was basically her debut appearance. Then she killed off in this book. By issue 9, of course, basically we kind of get to the very end. We have a new Lawless. Yeah, new version of Lawless. I think you just him get resurrected for a couple issues, despite supposedly killed off here. Yeah, he's basically a zombie for 2 issues. Mm-hmm. And then they kill him off again in issue 11. And the final issue is when he meets up with the original man, basically. And then also, believe it or not, Nira, the main villain of, I kid you not, Underworld Unleashed made his debut in Manhunter. He was not named. And also, they even had the frickin' Psychopower appear here, except he actually had like one piece of his mask here. Yeah, I didn't really get up the purpose of him being here. I mean, it's great, always great to see Psychopower because he's a cool character, but I had to ask, why the heck did they feature him in the last couple issues of this book? Yeah, there was no reason for him to appear here. And get this, the final issue was Underworld Unleashed tie-in. Yeah. Yeah, also, Manhunter. Yeah, Mark Shaw returned to this book. I think this is the first time he appeared in comics at this point in time since the end of his solo book. Yeah. But what happened to Chase Lawler? Oh, by the way, the final issue, I should point this out though. The first 11 pages were inked by Joey Palmiani, which, yeah, the Show's Fight book is really good. Yep. And, like I said, like, as soon as the book wrapped up, he is never seen again until issue 9 of the successor volume, which was released in 2005. That is next time he appears. I'll discuss later, but in the case of this volume as a whole, it's a pretty good volume. I think the villains were interesting. And I did find it interesting, though, that the writer, I think, was trying to make him the first, I think he was trying to make a new hero to replace Green Arrow, but it didn't really work. Yeah. But not much to say about this book. I'm going to give the book roughly a 9. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Yep. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit the dislike button. Next up is going to be, well, the final 2 episodes of Demon Lord Retry, and finally I'll get a chance to do, which, yeah, I think I will be able to do this, well, that Democratic Slime. Okay, next view. Bye.